Hi, and thank you so much for joining Redpoint Global's conversation with Munvo around a Customer 360 database. I'm Ashley Morgan, and I'm joined today by Ed Scrivani, Chief Operating Officer at Munvo. Munvo is a system integrator who has been focused on marketing technology since 2005. Welcome, Ed. Thank you so much for joining me for this conversation.
Thanks, Ashley. I'm really excited to be here this morning.
Let's jump right into it. So first question here. The topic of the discussion today is Customer 101 to Customer 360. The 101 really implies fundamental, baseline, or introductory. So with that in mind, what would you say are the fundamental components of a Customer 360 database?
Well, Ashley, let's first start with what is a Customer 360 database. So a Customer 360 database aims to provide a comprehensive view of customers by consolidating data from various sources. What we do is we compile this hyper clean set of profile records, everything that's known or knowable about each customer, and then we provide that, make that available to the business users so they can create audiences and activate messages across all devices, channels, and touch points. And there are really four fundamental components to a Customer 360 database. The first is the customer profile itself. It's that centralized customer data that can include things like demographic information, contact details, purchase history, interactions, preferences, even behavioral data. The next component is really the data sources themselves. It's the integration of the multiple data sources where I'm going to get this data from. And that could be CRM systems, marketing databases, social media, even support tickets. And this could involve what they call an ETL, extract, transform, and load processes to ensure data consistency and accuracy. And the data can be ingested in different ways. It could come in streaming, it could come in batch, it could be structured, it could be unstructured. The third fundamental component is the data quality and cleansing. These are mechanisms to maintain data accuracy, consistency, completeness, and this involves processes for deduplicating data and standardizing data across various sources. This could include creating these things called persistent identity keys that could be assigned at the individual level, the household level, the address level, and actually even create aggregates for customer recency, frequency, monetary value, or tenure. The last fundamental component is kind of the analytics and insights. It's, how am I going to derive meaningful insight out of this Customer 360 database? This could involve predictive analytics, segmentation, customer lifetime value creations, sentiment analysis, and all of this has to be done in a highly automated fashion with minimal latency from data ingestion to activation at an enterprise scale.
Thank you so much. So if we fast forward actually to the end result, why is it important for a customer to pursue a Customer 360 database? So I guess in other words, how does it help brands make money and save money?
A Customer 360 approach actually can significantly impact a brand's revenue and cost-saving strategy. By having a true Customer 360 solution in place, you're now removing these countless dupes that are both within and between dozens of customer data silos. So you're not only cutting the expense that would have otherwise been wasted on those duplicate marketing efforts, but you're also boosting the response and the conversion from the marketing efforts by communicating the right message to the right person at the right time on the right channel. And what we see, the most common impacts are things like a personalized customer experience, right? Customer 360 databases allow for personalized experiences, which can lead to customer loyalty and higher spending. An example of this might be tailored recommendations and offers based on past behavior and preferences that can drive higher sales. The other area that we tend to see is improved customer retention. A customer 360 database helps identify customer preferences and pain points and behaviors, and by addressing these more effectively, brands can improve customer satisfaction, leading to higher retention rates. We all know it's much easier to retain existing customers than to acquire new ones. So by retaining those customers, we can actually save money on marketing and acquisition costs. Another impact we tend to see is around optimized marketing spend. With better insights, those brands can allocate their marketing budgets more efficiently, so they can focus on the channels and the campaigns that yield the better returns and reducing spend on less effective initiatives. And then the last area is around the streamlined operations. Consolidating that customer data from various sources into that unified system can actually streamline internal processes. This can lead to operational efficiencies, reducing costs associated with manual data handling, redundancy, and errors.
So can you take me through a brief step-by-step process of creating a customer 360 database? What does that entail?
Well, absolutely. So there are numerous processes involved, but the basic steps are, first of all, you got to define your objective and your scope. What's the goal for the 360 solution? And that's going to, you're going to have to understand the depth of the customer information that's required and the intended use cases. The second is you need to identify the team. So each step requires collaboration amongst various team members within their organization. That could include IT, data specialists, marketing, sales, customer service, and they all have to come together to ensure successful creation and utilization of that robust customer 360 database. The next step is to identify and connect to all those data sources, as we talked about, and then making sure that data is the data quality is there, the assurance of that data quality. And that really can be the most challenging step, as I mentioned before. We want to clean that data in a non-destructive fashion through global address standardization, email normalization, phone verification, parsing, concatenation, and other fundamental data hygiene routines. And all of this has to be done in like a lights out 24/7 process, which can be challenging. But when you're dealing with customer data, obviously you got to worry about security and compliance measures, right? Establishing protocols for data access and encryption. And then the next step is the analytics and insights. So you can either use an out-of-the-box vendor analytics solution. You could use a third-party analytics tool. You might have an in-house built analytics capability. But what you want to do is derive these actionable insights from that unified customer data. And you might need to develop interfaces or dashboards that allow the different teams within the organization to access and interpret that customer data easily, and visualization tools that will help them understand and utilize those insights effectively. The last steps are ones you see in any enterprise deployment, testing and iteration, gathering feedback from users and stakeholders and iterating and improving the functionality, deployment and training, to deploy a customer 360 database across relevant departments or teams. And you have to provide that training to ensure the users can effectively utilize that database with respect to their purposes. And the last is really this whole idea of continuous maintenance and improvement. So regularly update and maintain the database by incorporating new data sources, refining data quality, upgrading systems, to adapt to those changing business needs and technologies.
So you did touch on a challenge in that last response, but could you go into a few more common challenges that are faced when you see a build out process?
Absolutely. While specific challenges actually can vary based on the organization and in its data landscape, some of the common challenges in a customer 360 database build out would include things like data quality and consistency. So incomplete or inaccurate data can actually hinder the creation of a reliable customer 360 view. Data from different sources may use other formats or standards, or have varying levels of quality, making it difficult to integrate. You have to also look for a solution that pays attention to critical data hygiene processes that don't require extensive coding experience, and that's critical. Scalability is definitely another area that's super important. We need to, as the volume of the customer data grows, scalability becomes a concern. So you need systems that can be able to handle that. You need to be able to look for ones that can deal with tens or even hundreds of millions of customer records and transactions. And this all has to be done in real time. So maintaining up-to-date customer information in real time can be challenging, especially with dealing with these large data sets and numerous data sources. As I mentioned earlier, building out a customer 360 view often requires collaboration between different departments, marketing, sales, IT, customer service. So having an executive sponsor and ensuring effective communication and cooperation is definitely essential. And then user adoption, and training, extracting these meaningful insights from the unified data can be challenging. And these are new tools, right? The new processes, so the users need to adapt to these. Excuse me. So they need to be able to trust the insights that they're getting and to use the solution to solve real business use cases. So adequate training and change management strategies are essential. And then lastly, customization and flexibility. Businesses are unique. They have unique processes and requirements. The system needs to be flexible enough to accommodate for different data models, different workflows, different business rules. So when you're addressing these challenges, you have to look at it holistically, involving technological solutions, organizational alignments, data governance, and a commitment to really ongoing improvement.
Thank you, Ed. So we've come to our last question for this discussion. Once the customer 360 database has been completed, what are the most profitable use cases that you see activating this data? Can you share some of those?
Absolutely. Of course, the most profitable use cases, vary by vertical market. So, for example, in the telecommunications industry, a customer 360 database, holds great potential for improving services, enhancing customer experience, driving profitability. One profitable use case for activating this data, centers around personalized offers and plans. So by utilizing customer insights, telcos can tailor service plans and offers based on usage patterns, preferences, and behaviors. They can then create these personalized target marketing campaigns that can be promoted to specific customer segments, while providing opportunities for upselling or cross-selling additional services or upgrades. And in addition, by equipping the customer support teams with comprehensive customer profiles and service histories, this can actually lead to improved issue resolution, higher customer satisfaction, and even potentially reducing support costs. If we kind of change industries here and we look at maybe the healthcare industry, a customer 360 database can be incredibly valuable for enhancing patient care, improving operational efficiencies, and driving better health outcomes. Customer 360 database in the healthcare can centralize patient information from various sources like electronic health records or lab results or medication histories, even appointments, schedules, and patient-reported data. And analyzing patient data allows for developing personalized treatment plans based on the individual health conditions, behavioral patterns, responses to previous treatments, right? It can also facilitate better coordination and continuity. That's like the communication and collaboration amongst healthcare providers involved in patient care. And this ensures continuity of care, minimizes errors, reduces redundant tests or procedures, and overall improves the efficiency. The other point, which is key, is a customer 360 database in healthcare can also assist with compliance and regulatory needs. Ensuring compliance to healthcare regulations such as like HIPAA in the US, that's crucial. So really, no matter what the industry, a well-designed and managed customer 360 database, can increase an organization's revenues while reducing operational costs and increasing customer satisfaction.
Thank you so much for your time. You've covered a lot. We appreciate your insightful perspective. Catch us at the next conversation. If you're interested in learning more about Redpoint Global or Munvo, please visit our sites, and we look forward to talking to you soon. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Ashley.
Take care.